So cable TV has been dying lately, with MTV shutting down all of its UK channels by the end of the year. I mean, by 2030, cable would basically be a half-dead zombie. Fucking corporations. Anyways, let's go to the big and beautiful Canada and see how... Oh, goddamn. Here we fucking go again. Now look, I'm not Canadian, but why am I talking about this? Because as a television enthusiast, I'm interested in harvesting more talking about cable TV and how it's rotting faster than my brain. Recently, we've seen another victim, or should I say, victims. So what the hell is with this media company with a cheesy name and a video game studio logo shutting down all of its channels? Short answer, corporations doing corporate things. The long answer... So, for starters, WildBrain is a Canadian media and animation studio company that is behind a handful of channels that shaped Canadian childhoods. It was first established in 2006 as DHX Media, a merger of two companies. Sounds similar but has nothing to do with THX. DHX Media has been known for a shit ton of cartoons, many of which are actually from pre-existing companies that were then folded into DHX. They're kinda like the EA of animation studios, basically eating up other studios to form a bigger one. We're talking Cookie Jar as an example. You know, the ones behind Johnny Test? A pretty cringe show, but I was obsessed with it as a kid back then. I mean, you hear that fucking whip every 10 seconds. The name DHX came from the aforementioned two companies, Decode Entertainment and Halifax Film Company, whose names were also merged. Kinda like how the name Tanzania came to be when the countries of Tanganyika and Zanzibar were like, hey, let's unite in 1964, and boom, Tanzania. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, I wonder where the name THX came from. Now, as I've said, DHX Media was basically the EA of animation studios. They acquired Studio B Productions in 2007, then WildBrain Entertainment in 2010, that's probably where they got the name from when DHX became WildBrain in 2019, then Cookie Jar in 2012, and finally, Ragdoll Worldwide in 2013. Whoa, I guess that's where Disney got that trick from. Damn, that company was hungry. In the same year, DHX launched 3 YouTube channels, which is cool, I guess. But anyway, let's speed things up cause we can't be wasting any more time here with useless information. On November 28, 2013, DHX announced that it would buy 4 channels from Astral Media, which had gone defunct prior. They basically went and adopted Family Channel, both language versions of Disney Junior Canada and Disney XD Canada. For years, the folks behind Family Channel had rights to air Disney's content to the point that it was basically Canada's Disney Channel. If you were in Canada, you definitely grew up with all the cool Disney shit on Family Channel. If you had cable, that is. Kinda like China's clones of social media platforms, Canada basically had their own versions of the big 3 kids channels. Cartoon Network? Nah, they had Teletoon. Nickelodeon? Nah, there's YTV. Likewise, Family Channel was basically the Canadian twin of Disney Channel. Until 2015. Just as DHX went and bought these channels, their deal with Disney would eventually end. Disney was like, friendship ended with DHX, now Corus is my best friend. Before the deal ended though, Disney would make a deal with Corus Entertainment, which would acquire rights to Disney content distributed to Canadian audiences. DHX was dealing with the breakup by rebranding all their Disney branded channels as Family Junior, telemagino, and Family Charged. Since when did English become an objod? Where'd the vowels go? Anyways, after Corus took the rights to air Disney content in Canada, Family Channel began to completely revamp its lineup in order to further distinguish itself from Disney Channel, which would later launch a Canadian feed on September 1, 2015. But then a whole decade passes by and the purge begins. Recently, there has been a trend Disney has been doing by committing genocide against their own channels worldwide. Not as heinous as the one happening in Gaza though, but still. Basically, Disney's going around and forcing their subscription service down people's throats by killing almost every Disney XD feed around the world. Disney Channel is still alive in many parts of the world, especially the absolute worst feed that's in India. It has nothing to do with anything remotely Disney, just milking Doraemon again and again and again. I mean, Doraemon is good and all, but still. But anyways, Canada is one of the only places where Disney Channel is up and well, but its sister channels were killed off along with ABC Spark and Nickelodeon Canada on September 1, 2025. The reason? Financial pressure within Corus. Basically, people are watching cable TV way less than before, therefore less money is being generated through the shit ton of channels that they have. But wait, there's more. YTV and Treehouse, which have long served as Canada's hubs for Nickelodeon programming, also removed all Nickelodeon programming right when the channel shut down. So how do you even watch Nick in Canada then? Paramount Plus? Meh, fuck that. Streaming is cringe. Alongside that, WildBrain went and recently killed off all of its own television channels on October 22. Yeah, I get it, financial issues and stuff, but why remove one of the legacies of Canadian kids TV? It's way more than just financial issues. Basically, WildBrain could not negotiate a new carriage agreement with Rogers Communications in August 2025, later announcing that it would remove the channels altogether. Earlier, Bell Canada made a similar decision. As a result, WildBrain decided to just give up on its TV channels as they found them to be no longer commercially viable. This would not only be the end of these channels, but also the end of one of the big three of Canadian kids TV. Teletoon was already killed off to be transformed into Cartoon Network in 2023, with a pre-existing feed becoming Boomerang. Right now, YTV is the only one that's alive, but without Nickelodeon programming in it. You can still stream them though, but it's sad to see another big cable network dying. With this, the channels became the latest victims of the global phenomenon of the slow death of cable TV. By the end of the year, all MTV channels in the UK are set to shut down. I mean, MTV hardly airs music anymore, but it's still annoying that we have to depend on the internet for everything. What if you don't have access to the internet? What's next? You need to connect to the internet to have tap water, otherwise it won't come out if you don't connect? Streaming is also another huge reason why cable TV is being left to rot. And if you can't afford it, you're fucked. You might have to venture to the seas like everybody else. Ahoy fellas, we're gonna defy corporations as usual! Anyways, that's all for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys when I have the opportunity to do so. And as always, peace.